Welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. This is a show where we aim to educate, inspire and entertain through real life stories and interviews from people in the Scottish property community.
As always, thanks for listening and give us a follow on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember to join us at our monthly networking events on the first Wednesday of every month. Tickets are available on our website. So without further ado, we'll just cut straight into this week's podcast. Okay, John Morris and John Cox, welcome back to the Scottish Property Podcast. Good to have you both here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So this started a conversation through the Scottish Lettings Day. By the way, where are you guys at the Scottish Lettings Day? Did you not fancy that one, no?
We're not landlords, we're investors.
I don't know why I'm not there, to be honest, because we're part of NAVA and it's usually run by like Property Mark, isn't it?
No, I mean it was not for everybody, right? But myself and John, obviously, as lettings professionals, that was good for our businesses to be there. But we started a conversation, and we were talking about the podcast, and we're talking about yourself, John, and John Coxie, I'm going to refer to him as, because otherwise this is going to get really
very confusing. Yeah.
So Coxie says to me, I sound like one of the Rugger boys now, don't I?
I'll let you off with it, it's fine. Oh, we're close, mate, we're close. Okay.
He's like, why don't we get John Morrison as well? We can just do a round table kind of business chat, because basically the four of us here, we've all got our individual property businesses. We're trying to grow, we're facing the challenges, we're all at different points. We're facing the challenges day to day, growing the team, marketing, bringing in leads, sales. It's all stuff that's we're all facing. So let's just go shoot the shit for the next 45 minutes, see where the chat flows. But guys, first of all, give you the opportunity, just a quick overview. John Morris, first of all, where's your business at the moment? Just introduce yourself.
So John Morris, proud sponsors of the podcast.
Yes.
So Prime Property Auctions. We're doing all right. We're scaling. We in the middle of the year, we really tried to scale quite aggressively. There's now a team of 15 of us. We've obviously got the big office, which everyone has been to, barring you, Nick, even though you've been invited.
So if you guys saw it, yeah. So apologies, I had something on that night. The wine club.
It's John Cox's West End Wine Club.
The wine club is good.
We'll get onto that as well, because networking, massive thing in business as well. So we can talk about that, how that works. But John, if anyone's listening to this, the best thing for you to do to get a bit more background and context about who we've got here today, just get on Instagram, follow Prime Property Auctions. Same with Cox and Co as well. Obviously, you'll see content on there, and you can get a wee flavour of what goes on behind the scenes. That's some operation now, and some size of office you've got as well. That can't be cheap.
Well, it's just more for when it was just me and Lewis, we started in the attic, and then we moved into a smaller office, just me and Lewis. Then we moved into another office, hired 2 staff members. We then outgrew that, needed to hire more staff, moved again. And it was like, well, if we want to grow again, like the office is too big for the team as it is just now. But if we wanted to double the team next year, we don't have to move. So we've got that to grow into.
Why have you gone city centre? Because obviously rents are extortionate in the city centre. Could you not have gone somewhere like an industrial unit or something like that?
We could have, but it's more for the accessibility for the staff. So it's easier to get staff. So if people don't drive, they can get to us.
Yeah, right next to the...
Exactly. I mean, you're 2-minute walk up the road from the train station. So it was mainly for, if we are going to hire people, it's easy for everyone to get to the city centre, and it's also easy for everyone to find us.
Couldn't agree more.
Are you an office guy? Or because I'm thinking I'm on the point now where I'm just about getting an office, but I can't really see myself being in the office. So that's not really a good kind of thing to set. It's not a good standard to set for the staff.
I like being in the office, but I've always been in office, like especially in sales. It's like, okay, so what's going on with your deal? What's going on with this deal? And you can always like see what's happening. In sales as well, it's a competitive environment. So I'm sure the team hate it when I'm like, have you closed that yet? I'll just jump on the phone and I'll get the deal done. But I mean, I'm still...
Let me do it.
Yeah, I'm still on the sales board and stuff like that, and I'm always like, well, how many instructions have you got? And the guys are like, 5, and I'm like, why have I got 10? They're like, fuck off.
Right. But I'm the same as you. I'm exactly the same. We've had these discussions over the years. I am 100% based in the office, and my whole team are, and we've always been an office-based business, and it's purely because it's about collaboration. I want to bring everyone else together. So I've done exactly the same as you, but in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
We've got an Edinburgh-based office,
Stephen,
right in the city centre, slap bang in the middle. All my team can get to it very, very easily. There's parking. They're comfortable, straight beside train stations, everything else.
Parking cost you the price of a mortgage in Edinburgh?
Oh yeah. Castle Terrace is one of the most expensive streets to actually park in the whole city.
I'm not coming to visit your office.
do you have
I don't validate parking, unfortunately.
Do you have a separate office where people need to knock and like you know, is it all kind of, what's the protocol for coming and have a word with the boss?
For me personally,
Yeah.
So that's where me and John are a bit different. So I'm not in with everybody else. I've got my own office in the back. Yeah,
Right.
My
Okay,
weekend.
but you're out on the floor.
Do you think that's easier?
Coxie does have a very good system with his door system, which Lewis and I actually took on board. When it's like, so if the door's open, people can just come in. If the door's ajar, if you get a chap and wait to be called in, if the door's closed, bugger off and leave me alone.
Right. Okay.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's very much, and I've ran that now for well over 10 years now in the offices. It's kind of I've never really spoken to the team about it. They've all maybe chatted amongst themselves as new guys who started, but it's kind of a rule, like I'm the all-seeing eye at Cox and Co. So the door's always open. But if it's just push closed, then I'll give it a wee knock and pop your head in. And if it's closed, just leave me alone. I'm down a rabbit hole and getting on with things.
So you've not got a ping pong table at your office, have you?
No. We're far too East Coast
corporate.
And corporate. Yeah, we've got a boardroom and all
We have
that
a boardroom.
stuff.
Yeah, a ping pong board or a beer pong board.
So the ping pong table is in the kitchen area, and the boardroom, which is actually now more of a YouTube studio, if anything.
A darts boardroom.
Yeah. Do you have to kind of like, do you have to set boundaries in terms of, you've got all these kind of things for the team, but you know, obviously there's work to be done as well. So is it just a case of like, lunch breaks and stuff like that?
Usually lunch breaks that people will play table tennis, or if Lewis and I are bored, then we'll be like, let's play one in the team. But if they've got like 100 tasks to do, they'll even say, it's like, do you want to give me table tennis? They'll be like, give me half an hour and I need to clear my feet, because they're all paid in commission. So it's like, I need to phone 10 people that could potentially buy something or potentially sell something. If they're like, oh no, I'd rather play table tennis, they're not going to make any money.
Right, okay.
So
John Cox, give yourself a wee introduction and where you're at in terms of the business.
Sure. John Cox, Managing Director of Cox and Co. We are
very corporate there.
You know me, I can't help myself.
That was a LinkedIn introduction there, wasn't it?
Yeah, we are letting agents, estate agents, mortgage brokers and property investment specialists all under the one roof, based in the city centre of Edinburgh, right in the shadow of Edinburgh Castle.
Nice. East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, we've got a decent sized team. There's 14 of us in total as well. Been running now for 9 years. And I kind of essentially run the business, but I'm still quite heavily involved in kind of the day-to-day running of the business and the occasional sort of deals here and there when I'm needed. But I'm a great believer of kind of collaboration in the office and giving everybody loads of autonomy. So I've got directors in each area. So I've got my directors from a director of mortgages, director of lettings, director of investments, director of sales, and they can answer into me.
What does your day-to-day look like in the business? Like, what's your operations?
Sure. So I personally, it varies. I would probably say I'm now at a point whereby, if you were to look at it as in the business and on the business, and I've always had that kind of fight with myself, is to stop myself working so much in the business. Thankfully now, after all these years, I'm probably about 70-30 working on the business and 30% in the business, which is great, and it's testament to having a great bunch of staff, wonderful team. They kind of run the place for me, and my directors kind of answer into me on a daily basis, and I very rarely get involved in any of their teams. I'll let them
give us some examples of it for people who are more starting out and stuff like that. What should the working on the business tasks look like? What are those kind of
this sheer activities? Panic, closing my door and sweating, crying. No. It's HR, recruitment, making sure the team are kind of getting looked after correctly, annual reviews. I still get heavily involved in all that side of things. Networking, as everyone kind of knows me for, I'm quite prolific on LinkedIn and other sort of platforms. I utilise a lot of my time now building networking events and
talking about networking, right? We've all had the messages, I would love to pick your brains, I'd love to meet you up for a coffee and that, I'll buy you a coffee sometimes. How do you have a filter? So I'll start with you, Coxie. Do you have a filter on that about meeting up for coffees and stuff? And how do you test people, if they're kind of serious or not, before you commit to that 1 hour out of your day? Or would you just go with it?
Traditionally, I would be jumping all over it. Like traditionally, I'm like, yeah, of course, let's go for a coffee, let's do it. This year, as of last January, I literally hard stop, and I'll have a quick call. They get 15 minutes on Teams or Zoom or on a call to have a discussion first, whether it's worthwhile.
Yeah. So that Calendly thing's been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Calendly, just send out the link and then you can obviously control your own diary.
Do you think with the amount of networking events that we've got on in the community that I think it's almost done away with it, because it's like, we've got the Scottish Property Podcast networking event in a week's time. So someone's messaged me with a now I'm at Edinburgh. If you want to come to Edinburgh, meet me there. I'm going to be there anyway with 20, 30 people, 40 people anyway. Come and see me, we can chat. Yep. Or I've got a wine tasting next Friday, come along. So it's almost funnels them into where you're going to be anyway without having to take time out your day to go and call them. And
I think we're established enough now that I've got the right contacts, I've got the right network, we've got the right solicitors, surveyors and so on my panel, that when I do have new ones reaching out to me here and there, I either get my team to vet them first, or we have a quick 10-15 minute call, and if it makes sense, I'll say, well, I'll tell you what, come along to West End Wine Club, or come along to this event, or take a table at this charity event I'm hosting, you know, etc., etc., and we'll get to know them that way. I'd rather not spend my time, you know, vetting people and seeing whether or not we can do business together anymore. That's B2B, of course.
It's quite a long process, isn't it? Like,
it takes a lot of time.
What about you, John Morris? Do you have to be a good table tennis player to get a meeting with you?
Well, now, I mean, if people want to reach out, it's more, I mean, I spend most of my day on WhatsApp speaking to people. So see, when it's like networking, it's like, see if you can get someone's contact details, you can send them a message, you can have a conversation with somebody over WhatsApp, easy enough. You don't have to go meet them. You don't have to, let's arrange a date, let's arrange a call. It's like, well, what do you need to speak to me about? Have you got a specific question? You can send me the question and I can answer it on WhatsApp. And I've done loads of deals with people. I mean, one of my best clients, I've never actually met the guy. It's only ever dealt with over the phone and over WhatsApp. And it's like, I bring him deals, he then buys them, or he's looking to sell properties. He's like, John, I'm looking to sell this property. And that's all you really need. So if you're looking to start out in business, it's important. It's like, fair enough, sometimes you want to cultivate a relationship. I mean, we actually met on a lunch. So we, Cox and I ended up sitting across from each other, and we just were talking about UFC. And then we just kept in touch, and then it took us about probably 2 years before we actually did any business together. We just kept in contact with each other.
And became mates first. That was the thing. Business buddies just through being in similar networks.
Talk to me about phone calls. John Morris, you're a phone calls guy. You're all about the calls. Now, phone calls fucking drive me mad when I'm getting phone calls, because it's it's on the other person's agenda. It's not on your agenda. Take that call. It's frustrating. The hell, I'm not talking about you personally. I always take your calls. Do you know what I mean? Not you personally, but like,
just realised how similar we are, Nick, for the first time in 5 years.
You're the same. So what's your strategy? Do you send that text message back where you can just send it, I'll call you, busy right now, I'll call you later, or do you just ignore it? Do you get back to them? Do you check your voicemails?
I kind of agree with you, and I fucking drives me nuts. My missus does this, like, she'll phone you, I'll ignore it because I'm in a meeting or a conversation. I hate taking the phone when I'm doing something, which 99% of the time I'm always doing something. I'm never just sitting there, okay, I'll take this call. So I'm always with someone.
Kelly,
like 5 minutes, I'll just be like, wait a minute, I'll nip out, right, the conversation's finished, or that call's done, you're going for it back, and you fucking answer me.
But see if somebody's phoning you, and it's like, okay, I've been waiting to hear for this person. Hi there, how's it going? What is it? I'm just like, I'll phone you and you'll be like, what is it? And I'm like, I'm just looking to shoot the shit, and you're like, I'll give you a call back when I'm driving home.
I'm in.
So then it's like, oh yeah, because we know we're just going to have some general banter. There's nothing really urgent. Or if I'm phoning you, be like, I've got someone that needs a mortgage, and you're like, okay, can you send me an email with an intro? Boom. So it's quick, it's immediate. Opposed to, this is like, see people that send voice notes. I know you're a big fan of it.
Yeah, let's talk about
basically
voice notes.
That is just you thinking about what you want to say, but you've got nobody speaking back to you to have a conversation with. So I might get voice notes from people and they're like, hi John, how's it going? Oh, what was I going to say again? I've completely forgot about it. And then I'm like,
seconds have passed.
And I'm like, what was the point of this? This could have been a text message of like 2 lines of what you actually want to say. So it's just about, it's like speed of response.
I know voice notes. I get feedback at the start. It was like, my missus was like, I'm not reading any of your voice notes, by the way, not reading, so you don't even send me one. So there's like people that you start getting to know, the people that just don't do voice notes. Adam Lawrence, a guy we've had on the podcast a couple of times, talks a lot about the economy stuff. He's like, don't even try sending me a voice. He's very honest and blunt and to the point. Don't even try sending me a voice note, or he'll see a voice note from me in the Facebook message and he'll be like, I'm not even listening to that, so don't.
Cliff notes, please. What have you said in this?
So what do you tell the team then?
So voice notes are banned in our group chat.
Right.
It's like, if you cannot tell me what you need to tell me in a sentence in a text message, you don't understand what you're asking yet.
Not good use of time. But I would agree on the phone calls thing, unless it's like
different. I'm so different to that.
John Cox.
No, again, we've all got different levels of different people that you speak to in a day. You've got your business contacts that you know that you need to be quite reactive with and get back and forth. There's the people that you're speaking. Yeah, exactly. And then there's just the people that you speak to every once in a while. You've then got the occasional clients who maybe want a quick answer from you and you feel you need to get back to them. And then you've got the ones who you know that they'll be comfortable waiting a few days. So I'm I'm a nightmare. I'm probably about 15, 16 messages behind on WhatsApp right now, and I'm always running behind and trying to keep on top of my WhatsApp. Whereas I am really bad for leaving folk voice notes because I'm on the road a lot. I commute in from Peebles to Edinburgh every day. So I've got an hour drive in, hour drive back. That's my time when most folk can get hold of me. You know that. That's the time when you can get hold of me. It's usually between 9 and 10. Between 5 and 6.
The driving time's great for that.
I use that time every day, and I've spoken about on previous podcasts and on LinkedIn about it. I utilise that 2-hour commute every day religiously. It gets used to either catch up with people or to do bit of business, tie up my day, sort things out. So I'll use that time for a lot of voice notes.
I jumped at the chance on Tuesday to go up to Aberdeen just to view a portfolio. The old guy was really interested in it. It was worthwhile drive, but 4 hours, and I thought I'm going to be productive and I'm going to make calls, and there's people I need to catch up with. So I took that whole 4 hours and it was productive. But like you say, if there's times when you know you can take a call or that commute time, it can be so useful to get them done.
Myself, my director of new business, Neil, we went up and did a similar sort of thing. We went and looked at a site up in Inverness, and we took the time out of the day. We jumped in the car and we drove all the way to Inverness and all the way back in the day. It was like nearly like 8 hours in the day of the day gone for a 40-minute site visit. But we didn't stop talking shop the whole way and the whole way back. And because he's very much my right-hand man in the office, the amount of work we got done and the things we ticked off our kind of lists, this never-ending operations list we've got in the office. It was amazing. I wish I could do it once a month.
So hang on a minute, right? So you won't answer your fucking phone, but you expect people to answer their phone when you're driving 4 hours or 3 hours to Aberdeen.
That's like you said, it suits your time.
I suppose though, if you've been ignoring people for so long and then it's like, oh, Stephen's calling me, I better pick up because I phoned him 300 times and he's not picked up the phone.
But most people are probably like, fuck you, I'm not answering your phone.
Let's be honest, there is, and I mean this in the nicest way, there needs to be a little bit of not a selfish mentality, but it's kind of a subconscious selfishness.
You need to be productive.
You're running a business, you've got a lot to get on with, you're carrying everything. I say this to my wife a lot, we've got 2 young kids, 2 and 6. Well, I live in Peebles, I commute into Edinburgh every day, I'm running about the place all the time. So during that work hours, I don't have time to stop. Like as soon as I drop off my little one at school in the morning, it's non-negotiable. I've got every day. I do the primary school drop off. I get in the car at 8:45 and I'm driving to Edinburgh, and I do not stop till the day I
family life.
The house.
Great transition. Where are your boundaries when it comes to work and family life?
So again, my non-negotiable every day is the primary school drop off because I can never always be home for the witching hour, that dinner, bath and bed. So I try and be there. Yeah, I'm there for at least. I'm there 4 to the 5 of the week, guaranteed. I think it's only maybe once a week. I maybe missed the little boy going down.
Why would that be?
A social event, a networking event.
You've got
a wine
you've got
club.
the team now, so you can control.
It's more my own extracurricular activities. It's easy for me to say. Golf, as you know this, I've kind of become weirdly addicted to golf in the last 2 years. But I can honestly say I haven't played a game of golf out with work hours in that whole time. It's always been during work hours. So again, being very selfish on my time, getting my work done as much as I can on a Thursday or a Friday, nipping away and playing.
It's the most cliche property professional thing.
Oh, I am, yeah. But hey, listen, but you've been to my golf days.
I know, I'm going to take up golf next year.
Playing golf, man.
So I would go in and play golf on a Friday. But what folk don't see is that I probably worked till 2 a.m. the night before.
Just to make clear.
And I've got home, I've got the kids down, I've had a glass of wine with Susan, and then I'm back through at my office.
Do you get grief from the missus for that? Work from home till 2 a.m?
Well, on the very odd occasion, because she knows what I'm doing. She's seen this. We've flown this last year. We've been absolutely flying as a business, and a lot of that's been all the graft from before. And the times when I did take people's phone calls, and the times when I didn't stop, and I ran out and had all those coffees. All that's starting to come together now.
It's compounding. Your wife's and your family life seeing the benefit of you.
100%. So Susan's, 100. She really backs me, and I'm delighted because But there is occasional sort of stressful times where I'm running an event, and the next day I've got another event. That happens this time of year. Silly season's just beginning, and I've got I could run 4 diaries at the moment if I could, for the next 4 weeks leading into Christmas.
John Morris, you've got a wee one. You've recently become a father. What?
2 and a half years. Yeah.
Aye.
We literally started the business when Stacey was pregnant. Super smart.
How's the juggling been?
It's fine.
Coping all right?
Really good. I mean, my wife takes most of the burden with my baby.
Traditional household there. Man comes home, expects the dinner on the table.
So it's more, she's in nursery 2 days a week. And then I'm not far away from the city centre, so usually home for about 6:30.
Right. So your other half work as well?
She works for the business, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
She works for the business. Okay. So then I mean, we take it night on, night off of doing bath and bedtime. But then if I've got an event on, then Stacey jumps on and takes the burden. But the main thing, the difference of between now and say when I started, and even when I was employed, I used to work the weekends. So I'll still, if people phone me and it's work related, I don't really pick up the call. But I'll say you can WhatsApp me.
Okay.
So that's one agreement that I've got with Stacey. It's like I won't take work calls on the weekend. Yeah. I'll still be doing things in the background, speaking to people, but I'm not going to be away on a 15-20 minute call. So then I'm spending time with them on the weekends.
Does anyone else have this when you're in the house and you should be focused on the kids and they're speaking to you and stuff like that, but you've had like one of those days at work and you've got like 101 things going through your head?
Oh, honestly.
And then sometimes you're like, I'm not present here. I get so fucking guilty of that all the time.
Yeah.
And they're asking you something like, or my wee man's tugging at me going, come on Dad, play football. And I'm like, ah, shit, I need to sort out this electrician who's like gone here and something's messed up. And
when I first moved to Peebles, I used to tell myself, right, I've got this hour commute, so by the time I kind of see the lights of Peebles in the Borders, that's when I should have got off most of my calls, and I've squared away my day, and I can relax, and I get to the house, and I'm over it, and I'm straight in as Dad. But as the business has grown, I'm probably getting worse and worse and worse for taking a call right up to when I'm reversing it at my driveway.
So you've not got that switch off time at all?
Yeah, really, I'm not getting it as much as I initially thought I was going to.
And it's your wife's got the door open like that?
Oh yeah, little my 2-year-old Campbell gets handed to me as I walk through the door.
We've all got kids of similar age, and I think we've all put that as one of the top priorities as well, as being there, being present. Like, I don't know how any of you guys feel, but you've only got that time for 4 or 5 years. You're only getting it once. The business is going to be there, grow at whatever rate, but the family's going to disappear.
Yeah, but I think it's helped as well. Focus on growing your business as well. You know, when you've got a supportive partner and you've got the kids are healthy and everything in most respects at home is going great, it allows you then to make that huge focus onto your business. So everything's got to be aligned. I say it in the office all the time to my team. If things aren't aligned at home, then I'm not going to get 100% from you here either. So I've got a real kind of open door policy for my staff. Like they can come and go, they can look after the kids, they can go away. So even the silly stuff, like they've got an event that weekend, they want to get their hair done. Well, go do it on my time. Go and get yourselves sorted out. I want you at 100% all the time at Cox and Co.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break, guys, from today's show to talk about selling your property with Prime Property Auctions. Now, myself and Stephen have both used John and Lewis from Prime in the past, and we can personally vouch for their service. They sell vacant and tenanted property, and you get to control the minimum reserve price so that you're not selling your property for peanuts. They pay for all the stuff like photos, videos, and all the marketing stuff up front, so you're not paying anything from the start, and it's a no sale, no fee. So if you want to check out Prime Property Auctions, then get across to the link on the show notes and speak to the guys. Building the team then, getting on to staff, business owners, sometimes one of the biggest stresses possibly, I don't know, from what I read, when businesses start growing.
Recruitment's a nightmare.
Recruitment, like tell us about...
especially.
Tell us about, obviously, at Prime Property Auctions, you've just told us there about the staff are obviously incentivised by the commissions, so I presume it's like a basic salary, is it? And then commissions.
So basic and commission on top.
But you still need to, they're not all going to be just naturally driven, are they? So do you have to set
everybody's
targets?
Always, it's when they come in, it's like, well, I want to make X amount a month. And we're like, okay, well, you're currently unskilled, know nothing about what you're about to be selling, so you need to build up that knowledge to be able to be, you need to provide value. So it's like, if you want to get paid £10,000 a month, you need to be able to provide considerably more value to get paid that. So do you think that you're going to come in your first month of sales, you're going to sell £500,000 worth of property? Probably not. It's going to take time to get that. So it's more taking a long-term view. As a staff member, if you're looking and going in and working in sales, you're like, well, how long am I willing to work before I get paid a certain amount of money? Because when I first started working, I was just happy to be in a job. Working in property was what I wanted to do, and I could learn as I was getting paid. And then it took me probably about 3-4 years before I started making really good money, and then it's just like kind of catapulted from there. And it's like constantly learning, constantly putting the work in. I mean, as I say, I used to work weekends.
Or background of a candidate that comes to work with you that you can go, do you know what, you're going to be a good fit through.
They need to want it. Is the most important thing. So it's
so the attitude's
people can turn around and say, well, I want to make £1 million a year. Okay, well, show me what you do outside of work. Are you still because people won't take calls. Like when I would take calls anytime. Saturday, Sundays was always trying to do deals. So if you're like that and you want to get forward,
there's a kind of, I've noticed there's a kind of demographic in your office. It usually is kind of, well, it's mainly males, right?
Yeah.
Predominantly males. Take it they don't have kids and family, most of them.
So I mean, it's younger guys.
Younger guys
that are in it. We do have a female member of staff, Danny. She's really good. She's actually probably better than most of the guys.
What is it about guys, you think, not females? Why have you not got more girls?
You need to have a certain mentality to go into a sales role more than anything else. And it's
why have girls not got that?
It's not that they don't have it. It's just that, I mean, there's a higher proportion of males that want to do that job.
Right. It's interesting. I just noticed that. I was like, why is it all guys? So keeping people incentivized, John Cox, how do you retain good talent when you get them?
God, see, I'm a bit different because majority of my staff are all full-time employed and they're all professionals. So one of the things
my staff are professionals. Thank you very much, John.
What I mean by that, if you allow me to elaborate.
Tyson's got
I'm a great believer. So I've got no trainees. I've got no part-time members of staff. That's something that I believe works very, very well for my business. Is that
you're paying for the expertise?
Correct. Yeah, so they're all on good salaries, good commissions, and they've all cut their teeth elsewhere, and they've come and joined. You know, they've tried the rest.
But can they become with bad habits? Do you have to train them into your...
No, because the ones who I've selected, I don't really interview people. It's very much sitting them down, going for a coffee or a beer and having a chat and making sure their values fit within Cox and Co as well. So it's person first for me, and bringing in the right type of people. So we've got a good blend of men and women in the team. And I suppose what I've been learning, and probably one of the things that me and John speak about so often, is that commission-led roles, because my estate agency side of my business is commission-based. We're running very much a property broker model, and that's been a huge learning process for me since last August.
Very different with the staff.
Massively different.
That's it's a very interesting topic. It's very in the industry at the moment, estate agency in general, it's a huge topic about this model, this American model coming in, kind of disrupting things to traditional estate agents. But you were saying it doesn't always work, it doesn't always suit everybody.
Well, we spoke about this at the lettings day. And look, again, it's getting the right people to come in, and the ones who are motivated enough to actually want to work.
Where does it fall down then? I mean, you don't need...
Can I?
Yeah. Oh, listen, this is
my neb in.
Please go for it.
It's the estate agency is just a race to the bottom in fees, and then the average house ticket sale in Scotland's not big enough. So I mean, say in America you're selling $1.5 million houses, whereas here you're selling 200 grand flats. Right. So the commission on that. So if you sell a 1.5 million gaff, the commission on that's pretty good. You could probably live on that for 3-4 months. You only need to do a couple of deals. Whereas here, you need to be doing volume at the lower value stuff for estate agency. So and again, it's a long-term game. So if you've got people that are willing to, do you know what, I'm not going to make a lot of money for a couple of years, or a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is. But then in that third year, all the other people are going to come back to me who I sold to now want to sell, and I'm still getting new stuff. So so
what's your advice to anybody considering this model then, that, you know, they've seen these Keller Williams things and all the rest of it, and it's like, because a lot of it is, it's like their model as well is based on recruitment, and the more people they get in and all the rest of it, you see that a lot as well.
But that economies of scale model is only going to work for the guys at the top. So this is not a pitch for Cox and Co. So hear me out before you pull me up.
Shut you down. So you've got like 30 seconds.
Yeah, so we've got, as I've said to you before, we've got a 4-pillar approach. We've got the sales, the lettings, the mortgages, and the investment piece all under the one roof. So my brokers are being trained to be buying and selling agents, to be agents for all 4 pillars. So when they're meeting someone who wants to sell their house, they're actually, what they're doing is like a discovery call. They're having a full holistic fact find with them. Where are you moving to? Can we help find that house? Do you need lending for your purchase? You need to look at your insurance again. And same thing when taking viewings. If there's 10 people coming through that door, my brokers are trained to say, well, that's 10 prospective clients for you. Because if they don't buy this one house, where else are they going to buy? Can you help them buy the next house? Can you help them with their lending onto the next one? Can you introduce them back?
Is that where they can make extra money for themselves?
Absolutely.
So there's incentives there.
So I believe...
What about the staff member that you've got that sat there who's very, very good at their job, and you think, we'd hate to lose them, right? But ultimately they've reached a kind of ceiling point, and how do you keep them? Because eventually they're just going to probably get bored. I mean, we talked to Neil...
Depends on the motivation.
Neil Dimmitt.
Each member of staff's motivation is going to be different, isn't it? Not all staff are motivated by money. Some might really want to make a difference in the team and be part of something bigger, or...
I've started giving staff I've said some there's certain ways you can. One of them is like Google reviews. So if you get like a 5-star Google review, I'll give you a wee bonus and stuff like that. Just wee things like that. Obviously, makes them feel a bit valued as well. Autonomy
is massive. Look, I've got a couple of members of my team that I know full well that they've been getting chased by recruitment companies, or they've been directly approached by competitors, and they've come to me and said, "Oh, look, they've offered me this," but they're not coming to me to show me that in the hope that I'm going to give them more money. They're showing me just to be open and honest, because we've built an environment of trust in the business, and incentive. I give them quality salaries, good incentives. They've got a wonderful environment, and they've got 99% autonomy in their day, so they can do what they like, just get the work done. Quarterly days out, go and have a coffee on me, go out for beers on me. It's fine, it's no bother at all, but get your shit done, and they kind of know that. And we spoke earlier about rugby before we kind of came live. I've built very much a team environment rather than a company environment. I like to. It sounds really cheesy, but I feel like I'm more like the captain than the coach. Like I'm busy. You're on the tools all the day, every day. The team are seeing you. They're inspired by you, John, every single day. I try and do exactly the same thing. So we've now got this kind of peer pressure thing in the office, where I do genuinely believe I've got guys in my team that would not sleep well at night, knowing. If they know that some of the other members of the team know that maybe they dropped the ball today, or they're going to drop the ball, or they forgot to do something, there's a genuine peer pressure amongst themselves. So therefore, they're all incentivized almost subconsciously to work harder for each other.
Is that like, I know some kind of gurus speak about the superstars in the business versus the kind of worker bees. Are you trying to build a team full of superstars that are almost all driving and passionate with their job? Is you kind of need the people in the background that just do the job? So you guys are sales animals. You need to be out there selling. You're on the phones. I've been there. I've been in your office and seen it happen. It's amazing. I've got I call it like a zoo of 4 different animals. I've got, people who work in lettings are very, very different to people who work in sales. And both are so different. Guys who work in investments and off-market hustles. And then they are all so different compared to my mortgage brokers. They're different type of people. So therefore, I've got to try and get that balancing act across them all. And it's picking the right people to fit in the different areas, but then they're also all extrovert enough to collaborate around a table to make dreams happen for clients. So your staff are really feeling valued now that they're working in a zoo. Like, the thing was, we were speaking to Neil Dimmitt, who started his own letting. I think you know Neil as well. Dimmitt. Yeah, really well. Yeah. Aye. So like he was talking about, he works for the guy Jack. I think his name was. For like 8 years, totally dedicated himself to and built his business. To one of the main letting agencies, and then he was just like, this. I need more. I guess what I'm saying is, you can't be fearful of that. People are going to have, if they're good at what they do, they're naturally just going to have that ambition to go and either start up themselves. Ultimately, he did take a few clients, he admitted on the podcast. But
he's also got paid. I mean, he worked for a company for 8 years, learned his craft, and then said, well, I'm going to go take the leap. Yeah. Because he could have taken the leap and it all worked. Do you see that in any of your team at the moment? Do you look at any of the young guys and go, he could potentially one day go and do this himself? I would like them to have the ability to, but not want to. Yeah. So it's like train them so well that if they wanted to go and start up, but they know I would rather be part of a bigger thing. You did it with your previous employer. Yeah. Ultimately, you got to a point. Yeah. You were like that. Well, that's a different. Didn't leave in as amicable terms, unfortunately. Man. Moving on to marketing. on that note, how close are you taking over that number 1 spot in Scotland? We've got. I mean, it's a long way there. They've got over 500 listens. We've got 268. So, but it's a zero sum game. I mean,
good going for they've been in the game a long time, and you're just what? Couple
yeah, I think we're doing okay. We're doing okay. We always want to be doing more. They're a beast among themselves. You know what I mean? They sell a lot of properties and they get results for their clients. So we just need to keep getting results for our clients and keep doing what we're doing, and we will get there. So
that's what I thought about the auction companies and some of these companies that sell tenanted property and all that. But you know, it's one thing obviously having the number of listings, and having that kind of market share and dominance, but ultimately you need the sales, don't you? So
yeah, I mean, I literally run a no sale, no fee basis.
Yeah.
So I was like,
as we say the advert midway through the podcast.
If I do not sell properties, I am not in business. Yeah. So we need more properties. The more we have on, the more we will ultimately sell.
But why in the market a little bit then?
Sorry. That's a good question. No, I need to get this question out of my head before we move on. Sorry, I do this all the time. But 200 and how many listings?
268.
Yeah.
Why would you have 200 and odd listings? Why are they not getting sold? Like,
because so basically, if I sell one property, I want to be listing two. So it's like, imagine you went into a convenience store,
right,
and they only had one tin of beans in the shelf. You'd be like, what's going on? Whereas if you come in and there's the tin of beans, you've got sandwiches, you've got everything there, you're going to make more money. You need to have the stock shelf. I mean, do you ever watch The Apprentice with Alan Sugar when they do the stalls?
But there's all that revenue just lying there on the shelf.
But it's not. It's business. It's banked.
Right. Okay.
For future. Obviously, it's like once we sell it, we get paid. Yes.
Aye.
But we need to have it on to have it sold.
You need to have more.
But some listings have been there for months and months, some years. Right? Or just there's not much you can do about it. You've tried all the what are the strategies if a seller's there for over a year? What? I mean,
ultimately,
price
if somebody's selling a tenanted property and they do not want to accept an offer we've got, then we will just continue. I mean, it's very easy for me.
Sorry, that's probably my stock that's sitting on the market for the last 2 years.
But if somebody turns around and says, I'm not accepting anything less than £100,000, it makes it very easy for me as a sales agent. When somebody makes me an offer of 90, I can be like,
nope,
no. And they'll be like, well, why not? And I'll be like, because the seller doesn't need to sell it. He will sell it if you offer £100,000. And then people get a bit arsey. It's like, well, it's not worth it. It's like not worth it to you, but it's worth it to them, and they're the one that own it. Therefore, they're the ones that make the decision. Yeah. Do you want to make me an offer of 100? And then somebody will probably make me an offer of 98,000. Then I phone Stevie, and I'm like, you're taking the fucking offer. And he's like, all right, fine.
It's just got to be to the point. Some people, but some people just won't have it. So yeah.
I mean, I literally had a conversation with a client yesterday. It's a property in Aberdeen. The home report's 160,000. They want 150. And I tried to explain to them, look, the price of that property to actually get it sold quickly is probably closer to 135. If you really want it sold. And they were like, well, we're not accepting anything less than 150. We got the person, I think they offered 120, we got them up to 136. So I'm like, that's really in the region of where we think that's good value for both you as the seller and the buyer. It's a fair deal. And they were like, we don't care. We were not accepting anything less than 150. And I was speaking to both the husband and wife, and they were very pleasant. They were like, well, John, we're just not doing it. We know we paid this for it, and we're not in a rush. We're happy to sell it. We appreciate what you're doing for us, but don't phone me with offers anything less. That's fine. Speak to the person's offered. I'm not willing to offer that much. So it might take a year for them to sell, but what happens is maybe in 6 months' time they go, maybe we do want to sell it, we'll maybe take a little bit less, or the market changes and people are then willing to pay the 150. So it's a time thing.
Yeah. Okay. On you go, mate. So marketing.
Marketing. So I think you touched on that there about the amount of properties you've got on your listings you've got.
Yeah.
Paid marketing versus organic social media. What's your main strategies? Like you've employed Nathan, two full-time members.
So we've got Nathan and we've got Matthew.
Right.
So Nathan focuses more on the long form content for the YouTube, stuff like that, and Matthew deals with more of the reels, so the Instagram and the short form stuff, just because Nathan was drowning a bit by the end of last year. We were like, we want to do this, and he's like, please help me.
Can I keep John off the camera as well? I get a feeling like you're not naturally like it's not like you're going in there saying, please film me, I want to be you all over social media, but you realise the value of it, right? About getting the person.
That's where you're wrong, Nick. I am an attention-seeking bastard. No, I mean,
Nathan, what's it like, mate? Is he just a total? Is he a narcissist or what? No comments.
Nathan's job safe.
The more people that know who you are, the more people that can use you for business. And that's the way I've always looked at it. I've always tried to put myself out there as much as possible, go to as many networking events. But sometimes you can't go to everything.
Yeah.
But everyone's got a phone. Everyone's on social media. So if they open their phone and they see me, they see Lewis, they see one of the team, and they say Prime Property Auctions, then they hear the radio adverts. Oh, that Prime Property Auctions. Then it's like
every single. But did you do any studies then versus, like, okay, if we spend $5,000 a month against Google ads, are we going to bring in the amount of listings, or if we spend $5,000 a month against 2 salaries and they're recording us constantly put on social media? Have you done kind of studies like that of which one's better or worse? Or
we are thinking long term for our marketing. So it's more, okay, well, if we've got a media machine, so when we go out and we do our radio ads, that also then filters into social media content for both organic and paid stuff, so we can make stuff around the ads and then we can run it as paid traffic as well as having organic. If someone sees your paid ad, they might not necessarily want to go through and fill in all the forms, but then they might click on to your organic page, look at the rest of them. So we sold a property to a guy 2 weeks ago. We obviously taken a deposit off the guy. It was a 220 grand purchase, so he's got to give us 10% plus the auction fee. So he's looking like the thick end of 30 grand, right? Spoke to him and he's like, do you know what? And I spoke and he's like, I've just sent you the money. I went on your social media and I ended up watching some of your YouTube channels. And I think he listened to one of the Scottish property podcasts and he was like, I really like what you're doing. And I spoke to him as well. And he's like, I've sent you the money and anything like, so the fact that we're doing all that is paying dividends of people who are like, maybe I don't know if I should send the money. And it's like, well, actually, I know John, I know Lewis, because they're on every platform. So we're putting our face out there to say, well, if something goes wrong, you can speak to us. We're still on the phones. We're in the business.
Aye. How much do you reckon you spend on advertising marketing each month?
A lot.
The reason I'm asking this is because I don't spend anything, like nothing,
Lucky
zero.
you.
But I'm not growing as quick as you, and I don't have 15 staff. Do you know what I mean? I've got a smaller operation, but then I think to myself, am I really missing out here? Is there some, John, do you have you got a marketing advertising budget? Like, is there a percentage? Like,
but
can you share how many thousands you spend?
Me and John have got very different businesses. We work in property, we're very, very different. So people don't realise I put nothing into paid ads. Zero.
Right.
Everything.
Is that because you've tried and it's failed, or is it just because you don't know enough about it?
I'm not looking for that types of clients. I don't.
What if it brings you investors,
I don't want first-time
landlords?
buyers, because it doesn't. I've been
How
there
do you know
and done
that?
it.
Have
So
you done
I've
it?
over the years?
Right.
Yeah. For me, we're very much a premier type business. You know, we're like wealth managers for property, where we are a different sort of level. I'm not looking for people. We don't do cheap deals. I don't do below market value stuff.
Don't do TikTok.
You can look at our TikTok, but it's not very much goes on to there. We're a lot of our stuff's organic. A lot of blog posts, a lot of content that I'm putting out myself on LinkedIn predominantly. You know, we're more LinkedIn than we are other social media platforms.
Have you got a gold badge on LinkedIn?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I spend far too much time on LinkedIn. Probably, I'm probably addicted in some ways. But
what does that get you, by the way? When you pay for the LinkedIn.
So I've got access to other sort of areas within it, Sales Navigator and so on, so I can contact certain people. Yeah, exactly.
People.
Yeah. But
it's
then
very interesting, the two different approaches, even on when you're talking about social media.
Yeah, we're
like
really
LinkedIn
different when it comes to these things. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good.
Collating very, very good content and providing it to the right people and targeting the right people, and then having really good organic content online. There are certain keywords on Google, if you were to search certain things that fit my business, and we will come up above the fold on the page on Google, on the first page.
Right.
And I'm very, very confident of that. Don't test it right now because I see your laptop there.
There's
a lot of them that people aren't aware of.
Cox, Edinburgh.
I'm not going to start reading out all your Google reviews. All the bad ones.
Look, the thing is, so we run it very, very differently, but then also our business has been running for a very long time. It's well established. So we do a lot of referral work, a lot of word of mouth stuff comes to us.
I mean, Nathan's sitting here today, right? And what I love I've always loved it about Prime and John and Lewis is that your second hire was a full-time video man.
Yeah.
To basically produce content.
Well, I am a salesman and I always want more leads. So effectively that was me spending money on a marketing team. I need you to create the media because it's more beneficial for me to be on the phone speaking to sellers, speaking to buyers than it is to be creating the content. So it was just, I was like, I know I can facilitate the sales and deals, so get me more deals. Because, I mean, large part of our business is referrals. As everybody knows, we pay referral fees. So if we can put out the content and people know who we are, I mean, the number of people that have messaged me on Instagram saying, I've got someone that's struggling to sell their house, can you help them? Yes, send me a message and I'll call them. And then we sign it up and we get it sold. And that person who sent me a message gets paid £1,000. And they're like, is it that easy? I'm like, yes.
The other thing that I've got to, like, hats off to you guys is that I think, I don't know, that this is me looking from the outside, you'll be able to tell us today, but you get a lot of people, and I was guilty of it as well, right, way back right at the start, and you slag the property education courses and the people coming out of them, and you go, yeah, like an army of property sources coming out here and all the rest of it. But you've almost like kind of embraced them.
Of course.
And you've made them your community as well. And now you're doing business and deals with a lot of them. And I see, obviously you post the screenshots, the WhatsApp messages, and I think there has been previously that kind of snobbery, people saying, we're not another fucking sourcer.
Well, the sourcers want to start doing property, and the people that do it wrong jump out of, they've maybe got a job and they jump out straight away and think it's going to be easy and they're going to make 10 grand a month. The ones that do it right have a job, and then in the weekends they go do viewings and they cultivate a relationship with the seller, and then they go, okay, well, they find a buyer, or they pass it to prime. Yeah. Those are the ones that would like slowly build up your knowledge, build up your network and just people. Do it slowly. The people that kind of baptism of fire, I'm like, this needs to work. If you have no knowledge, you're going to fail. So paying for the courses is really going to, like, obviously turbocharge that knowledge, but there's still things that you need to know along the way.
To do.
Yeah.
To do. Yeah,
the thing is, there's so many good people with good intentions that come out of the courses that set up property sources as well.
4 of our sales team have done some sort of education.
Yeah. The ones that almost hit the ground running a little bit because they've got that bit. So
our team leader Miles, so he did Paul McFadden's course, and they all. It's funny when they're speaking to a sourcer on the phone, they're all like, "This is a fucking sourcer." Like, you know, because they're like, I was the guy giving this guy the patter on the other end. Like, so they know, like, oh yeah, man, if this is going to be my 20th deal of the month, and it's like, he's talking absolute pish. He's like, I can smell the pish down the phone.
Cash buyer.
Exactly. So, but they understand, like, it's difficult to do. And there's so much that they need to learn to get to where they wanted to be previously. But they're all so good because they're interested in property and they're motivated. They want to do it. And the fact that they did it, it didn't really work out as well as they wanted to. They know it's bloody hard. So the fact they'd be like, look at all these leads we're generating for you guys.
The fact that they're out there and willing to go and invest money in themselves to learn tells you a lot about their personality. They want this bad enough to spend thousands of pounds on it. Yeah, like, so they've got. We
genuinely, if people have done a course and they're finding it hard to be a deal sourcer, we like those people because we want to teach them how to actually do deals.
John Cox, what's your issue with education courses?
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah.
No, look, I'm a bit long in the tooth. I've been doing this for a long time, and there's nothing that is wrong with it. I just feel that the ones who have come to me for advice over the years have been misadvised. I'm not suggesting everyone are the devil that's involved in that. Not at all. Because the clients who have come to me looking for advice or help, it's because they've been badly advised in the past and have spent far too much money on it. So yeah, I did go through a period of bad mouthing those courses and demonising weekend property course enthusiasts.
They're not.
It's just because, again, I was getting fed up of getting our time wasted within Cox and Co. People coming in, we had to unbrainwash.
I'm sure the last time I was on LinkedIn was about 2 years ago. It was John Cox bashing a course, and I was like, what? Somebody away.
By the way, I'm guilty of it as well. I used to bash them all the time, but I've realised I've come out your way of thinking now. I'm actually made friends with a lot of, like Sean Spalding, really good people, really people that are, and again, it's not what they teach, because what they teach works. It's about the kind of message that they preach and the message that they give.
Overnight, you're going to become a property millionaire. But again, Sean was working full time, had a trade to him, and he was deal sourcing on the side. And then I think he got let go from that company. He was like, do you know what? Now's the time. So he was doing deal sourcing on the side for 2 years, understood what he was doing, And then it was like baptism of fire. Okay, now I need to make it work, and he's doing really well.
I absolutely. Well, Sean, if you're listening to this, by the way, I've asked him to come on the podcast now 3 times. Now he's gone and set up his own fucking podcast. Cheeky bastard.
I'll speak to him after this, and then he can come on and plug his own podcast on this podcast.
He goes to my gym and all that. He's a good guy. Right, I mean, I think we've got need to watch our time here, but I don't know, sort of advice to the people.
Do you know what I'd like to ask you guys as well is like, how do you take time for you? As we're all busy business owners, family men, husbands. What do you guys do for you to just go and I need that bit of woosah, me time?
Go to the gym.
Yeah. I need that.
What do you do?
Go to the gym.
What do you do at the gym? Because I go to the gym and I just work on my laptop. That's all I do at the gym.
So I either play tennis with Lewis. He keeps beating me now.
Oh, aye. He's getting good? Or he's
getting good, yeah, he's getting good. Or I just go and put my headphones in and do some sort of Olympic weightlifting.
The weights, I've seen you do the weights. Yeah. I've seen you do stuff in the back garden as well.
Yeah.
You've got a kinda,
I've got my basement. I've got my basement gym, so I'll go down there and kill myself. Or when it's sunny in the summer, I'll put the weights outside.
Golf as well. You play that golf?
I mean, I'm awful at golf, but yeah, if it's usually it's corporate days. If I get invited, I'll go along with clients and stuff like that. But I'm terrible at golf.
John Cox.
I'm really conscious right now that I don't have much time. If I'm being really, really brutally honest,
Don't have much of a life then.
No, I'll be honest. I fit my social life within my business.
Yeah.
Hence why I set up my own wine club. I've set up a networking business.
Yeah.
I've set up an events company, and that's my social now. So I've played one game of golf this year at a weekend. Every other game of golf I've played has been a corporate golf day. So I build my socials in with the business. Yeah. I've got a 5-year plan, and I'm 1.5 years into it. And the big thing when I turned 40, I said I want to become a business owner, not a business operator. And I speak about this quite a lot. I've got 3.5 years until I honestly believe I'm going to become a business owner. And when I become a business owner, at that point, I will be able to start committing far more time to not just life in general, but to me. So I've made a commitment of 5 years of
You're just all in. Aye, and
all in.
Are you going to, after that, would you consider selling the business, or is that on the?
I'm going to build Cox and Co in a way that it looks as if I'm building to sell, and I'm never going to sell it.
Right. We will you have to see it as passing on generational down.
Yeah, entirely.
Kids or whatever, if they're
I've worked all my business life on this.
Not yet.
My son's always said, "Fuck that." Being a letting agent or a landlord.
Look
no way. Look
at
the hate.
Look, at the end of the day, though, we're property people, and I know this for a fact. We love what we do. We love what we do. And whether we're all a little bit different or at different stages, we say it a lot, we love what we do. And I don't ever see myself not being a part of it, but there needs to come a time where I get some time back for myself. And I played rugby for 20 odd years and then retired 5 years ago, and I miss it. And I miss having that time and the lads' time, the camaraderie. I miss the trips. I miss that time on the bus with the guys. And I tried post-retirement to get into running 10Ks and half marathons. I've tried, I came out of retirement for a wee bit and it was stupid, I came straight back out. But I've tried in the last few years to get that balancing act right, to get that time back for me. And the reality is, with 2 young kids, a business and everything else that's going on, it just doesn't work. So I make my time during work hours.
Do you not find the family stuff, that's the real hard work? I go to work for a break. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything, but
that is like they're all agreeing. They're all agreeing. Again, just won't say it.
You love it. You love it, really. And that's the thing. It's so. I'm a great believer.
I always joke with them at home as well.
You always say that I'm the positive guy on it, but it's true. Like, surround yourself with positive people. Again, there was a wee thing out on LinkedIn again recently about my viewpoints on surrounding yourself with adders, people that add to your life, and cutting out the subtractors in your life. And I'm a huge believer of it. And by doing that in personal, but also doing it within business, it's been life changing for me.
Yeah. How have you not managed to cut me out of your life after 5 years? The negative Nick. Still here, the negative stuff.
It's very important. Like, if we're talking business and wanting to scale a business and everything, I would focus, like, sales is number one, and then marketing in the back of it. If you're really trying to go, well, what do I want?
Would sales mean like also building relationships?
Yeah, well, everything. Like, so it's like, if you're, it's that, like, we'd use deal sources as like, you need to go and find people that one want to buy and one want to sell. Because everyone teaches like run paid ads straight away. But if you run paid ads and then you get loads of leads and you have no idea how to speak to them, then you've just wasted £1,000, £2,000.
And what about on the flip side then, if you've got your salesperson sitting there with no leads and he's sitting with no one to follow?
Well, you shouldn't have a salesperson if you've got no leads.
Yeah.
It's like, again, make yourself so busy, then it's like, okay, well now there's some money in the business, let's maybe hire a sales staff, and then you can give them some of the offcuts of what you deal with, and then if it's like, okay, now we're both too busy, then you start running paid ads.
That's what I went earlier about saying having my time wasted in the past with deal sourcers or property course enthusiasts is that they tend to be, not saying everyone, they tend to be one of two things. They've either got lots of clients and no stock, or they've got lots of stock and no fucking clients. And they come to me wanting this or that or want us to help. And I'm like, well, there's nothing we can do here together. And the key is balance. The key is balance in business. It's the key is balance in growing your business. You've got to get the right sort of balance, and you can't allow yourself to plateau for too long.
Just a quick fire question, just to finish off, a wee fun question. If you had £100,000 right now just to invest, where would you put your money? Starting with John Morris. I know £100,000. So a lot of people, that is a lot of money. Okay, maybe to you, John.
Buy another watch. No. I'd put it straight back in to advertising. So I'd run more paid ads, up the Google spend, up the Facebook spend.
Are you actually making any money in your business, or is it just all going back in? Well, yeah, obviously, clearly you are, because you've sitting there with that big watch and he's driving a big fancy Range Rover. But I know you do put a lot back in, and that's the long-term strategy, right? And I love that approach as well.
Yeah, so I would just reinvest it back in the business. I mean, I was speaking to Gary Wilson when I first set up, and I was like, oh no, it's obviously trying to grow. And he's like, sell one of your properties. It makes you 10% a year. And he's like, if you sell the property and then you get a chunk out of it, you can make 10x that money by putting it into your business. So instead of buying another property to invest at the moment, my main focus is make as much money in the business, so then it's generating like hundreds of thousands of pounds a month, and then I can take that money out and then buy property with it.
I've noticed you guys are actually buying yourselves again. You've been promoting that a wee bit about not deals through your auction.
So because we don't buy directly through the auction, so if I know there's a property that's cheap from a deal sourcer, if they're going to sell it to somebody else and I know what I can buy it, then I'll just buy it and then I can sell it, because I know I can make a small margin, and then the deal sourcer still gets paid, because if they're not going to refer it to us and I know I can still make money, then we'll buy it off a deal sourcer. So we actively buy. Yeah,
that's good that you're still in it as well. Yeah. You know, like, I know you can't get much for 100,000 through in Edinburgh, but what would you advise people? Where would you be? Would you still be buying property?
So for me personally, or for others, like an advice piece?
Well, maybe
personally.
You personally.
I'll give you a bit of both. So for me personally, acquisitions, I'm in the market. If anyone's out there with a 50 to 300 property portfolio,
that's buying other letting agencies.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm looking to grow between 50 to 300 properties.
Just East Coast or all over Scotland?
Anywhere across Central Belt. Anywhere, yeah. We're looking to grow our book, and we're wanting to grow quite aggressively.
How would you do that with your own business cash, or would you have to take loans, or would you? Have you looked at this seller financing, where you can? Obviously, you don't need to put a lot out at the start, and then over time you're paying off,
like almost like an earn out.
So you're taking over the book, and then.
I'm a great believer. There's more value for the seller if they can step away in day one.
That's all right for you if you've got buckets of cash, but I'm trying to acquire with no money, mate.
It's difficult.
All money out deals with buying letting agents. Nice.
But then you might
new course for you, Stevie.
The seller themselves might not get the same sort of level of premium either.
Yeah. But there's all these people on YouTube, because I watch the content, right? Because I know Lewis will be watching this, because he's all about Alex Hormozy, and then there's another woman that popped up that always pops up alongside Alex Hormozy, and she talks about buying businesses for no money and all that. Yeah. And there is people that do it, so it can be done. But then I think to yourself, you're selling, you want fucking money now, don't you? You don't want to wait 2-3 years.
There tends to be a progression. If you've noticed some people who have started deal sourcing, then they do a bit of property, they do the BRRs, and then they go, fuck, that's a lot of work.
Exactly.
So when you go, I can buy a nursery that's pumping out 100 grand a year, and I've just owned that business, and as you say, you can finance it on the profit from the business, and you don't need any money. So M&A is the next transition up from your BRRs, really.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'll cut you off there, and then that's acquisitions, and then.
If it was me personally, I would buy another flat in Edinburgh.
Aye.
quite
So
simple.
you're all in property still.
I've
of
said
course
this
you
on your podcast before. I'm all about vanilla property investment. My clients tend to be, they come to us with a pot of gold between 100,000 anything up to £1 million, and they want us to invest that into property for them, arrange the finance for them, source the properties, manage it thereafter. So they're we're like stockbrokers for bricks and mortar. I'm a part of that. I know the value in buying a 2-bedroom flat in the centre of Edinburgh, buying quality properties that are filled with quality tenants. You're going to sit with 90% occupancy. Yeah. You're going to have, between 4 and 7% capital appreciation year on year. Sit on it. Buy property and wait.
So if you're listening to this and you've got 100k to invest, don't bother picking up the phone to Cox and Co, and don't bother trying to ask into his wine club, because he'll tell you.
100 grand's perfect. It's a sweet spot.
All right, okay.
I'll sell you 4 properties.
Go and buy a grunter from
Good luck with those tenants and all that anti-social behaviour and everyone else that goes with it. Good luck.
Brilliant, guys. Finish off. Give yourselves a plug. If people want to reach out to you, where can they get you?
So John_property auctioneer or primepropertyauctions.co.uk. Get hammered.
Fantastic. And
get hammered. That's to say the place to go is Cox and Co. You just get me on LinkedIn, John Cox, Cox and Co Scotland, or our website coxandco.co.
Love it.
Brilliant, guys.
Great
Cheers
wee
for that.
chat there. Thanks, guys. It was good.
Thanks, gents.
Thanks for coming on.
Good fun.
Excellent.
Thank you.